We saw it coming. We knew Wednesday would find us. And so we are here. And Isaac is in the studios. Good morning, Isaac.
Good morning, good morning. It's a pleasure to be here every Wednesday to talk money with you two.
You know, yesterday we had this conversation of not really counting on your children as a financial safety plan.
Not really.
You know, that I am investing in my children when I grow older. They will feed into me.
They will return on the investment.
Which is always a bad idea. Because children can be children, yeah? But you mentioned something here that you're actually losing weight because of these same children. Is it because of the investment you're making in the children?
Is it me who meant that I'm losing weight, or is that how that went? It's news to me.
He's actually trying to tell you that
He's trying to tell me something.
that keep on doing what you're doing.
Multiply the babies. Long story short, you live long.
But is it too much work, really? Babysitting.
Of course,
Is
it
it?
is. It is.
How is
Is it something that could get you forget to shave your beard?
Yes. Well, for me, really what it is right now, if you want to get into my business, Jesse,
It looks like he
it
wants.
seems he wants to know my
I
life.
know.
Jesse wants my
give it to
business today.
him.
Yeah?
He's not
So
minding his
since you
own.
want to get into my business, huh?
Eh,
What's happening now is we're not sleeping. We're not sleeping well. We are getting this baby to sleep in her own room.
and she keeps coming. I know.
So-
I know what it
So
means.
now I'm on the mattress on the floor. Eh?
Okay, that's a lie.
I'm telling you, I'm on the mattress on the floor
Which is
for
also
the
healthy,
past
by the way.
maybe 2.5 weeks
Mm.
because my wife is expecting. And we have to make sure that we can separate church and state by the time the new baby comes.
You already used.
Huh?
You already
So,
used to
so
your
this
floor.
one is used to sleeping with the mom.
Eh.
Now new baby is coming. They are not going to sleep together with the new baby.
Stuff. I know what. I
But
know
you
what
can
you're
expand the
going
bed.
Yeah. My
through.
friend.
But she also, at the end of the day, she needs to learn to sleep in her own bed.
She has to learn how to sleep in her own bed. She has to
It's a
get
process.
that independence.
Mm.
So now I have to pay my tax with this baby. But she's a good child. She sleeps. Every once in a while she just gets a little bit
And she wakes up and
some
walks.
comfort.
Yes.
But last night she wanted somebody to hold her hand as she slept.
And it's going to take time, just like that. It's a process, but
Yeah.
eventually she will sleep off, and one day she will not wake up from her bed.
Uh-huh.
She will stay there.
We are
The next
praying.
day, like that.
For now, I'm
It's
on the floor.
It's a process.
Yeah,
It
losing
is-
weight from there.
Is there a strategy to it? That meant she has to go to a separate room, right? Because I know some other parents, what they would do is they'll get a smaller bed and just have it in the side in the same bedroom.
So that's what Madame wanted. Because when the baby was born, this baby was born, we had her in her cot in the room, but she has been spending quite some time with us, staying in the
And
room
she
with
eventually
us.
gets used.
She's used.
Yes.
She's used to it, and also the mother is used to it. Let me not lie,
It's tough as
even
a
me,
mother.
I'm used to it.
You feel bad,
Yeah,
even you.
I feel very bad.
It was hard for me to move my son. to his- I swear, I woke up
Yeah.
like 3 times in the night.
You see?
I know, it's tough.
But we prepared a room for her. It's been prepared for like a year. Well, like about maybe 7-8 months.
And she has not ever gone there.
She goes there to sleep in the day, her nap in the day. But she likes her room. She likes her bed. It's her place. We have toys there. She plays there. She likes it. The issue now is for her to sleep there by
At
herself.
night.
Yeah.
But she will eventually get used.
So don't worry. In the meantime, we are on the floor on the mattress, losing weight. That's what we are busy
Which
with.
is good for you.
Don't worry. The back will stay strong.
Yeah, you can keep on the floor.
Yeah, we are there.
because it's working.
That's
The
where
floor
we
is
are.
working.
That's where we are. We are on the floor.
Let's get into the business of the day. Today's Money Matters conversation. Money Matters every Wednesday, powered by the Money Making Sense. And Isaac Anusi, of course, comes in here to join us on this conversation. I'd like to have your take on, now that we're talking about children, people living at home in their mid-20s. You know, somebody yesterday was saying if you are in your mid-20s and you're still living with your parents,
what happens?
That could be holding you back in life. That kids need the challenge of paying rent and living on their own to build one, good character, which forces them to get, of course, better job placements because they are on the lookout for what will pay the rent.
They're hungry.
And also to succeed in life.
Well, if you don't have good habits by the time you're paying rent won't improve your habits. If you don't have good habits by the time you're 25, 23, the clock has been ticking for a long time. So you want to maybe establish, but I think what you're trying to say is that some independence. You want to have some fire under you so that you can move, and you get that fire from having to feed yourself. Huh? The one who's hungry is the one who knows how to work.
That is it.
So that's true, but I would say that's true, but our modern 21st century reality is meaning that it's become harder and harder for young people to strike out on their own globally. Because of the cost of living, because of inflation, because of competition in the market, because of lifestyle expectations. There's so many contributing factors. But we are seeing, I think if I had known, I would have carried some statistics that we are dealing with this question. We are seeing that each generation, at least this 21st century generation, this young adults in our generation, are taking longer and longer to get out of their parents' home, those who are lucky to have parents, and longer to marry as well, to settle down in their own life. We were talking about just the other day. Somebody was telling me a lady who has a job in an international development organization from the UK. She's Rwandan, but the organization is from the UK. Paying in Great British pounds, not pounds of any kind. The great British kind of pounds. However great those British pounds are, but that's what they're paid in. Well, I don't know if they're paid in that, but that's where the company comes from. She says she has a good job. She has an enviable job. Other people would love to have her job, but she's not buying a house with her salary.
She's mortgaging?
She can't. She cannot buy a house with her salary. And she says, if I cannot buy a house with the salary I have, with the job that I have, who is buying houses? Who is buying? Which young professionals are buying their own homes? And if you will remember, I don't know if Jesse was around, Juliana maybe not. Vision 2020 in the year 2001, I think, or 2001, 2003, when they started selling those houses. I think they were like 30M. Something like that. 35?
Cheap.
Well, by today's standards.
Was that cheap even in 20?
By today, 30M. People bought houses.
Yeah, I think that was a range. I remember I lived in Kibagabaga around 2013. And my landlady prompted me to buy off the house. At that time, she was selling it for 35 million. I remember saying no.
You missed a jackpot.
And 2013, this place. No, but by the way, 2013, Kibagabaga was already hotspot. Yeah,
it was, yes.
Yeah.
But I mean the range of the price of homes.
I said, no.
Yeah, like
no.
Right now to get it
now
at that amount.
To get a plot of land, leave a house for 35M in Kibagabaga. Good luck.
But when you look at the generation today, you would think parents are saying, we want children to be more independent. But again, even as the craving is there to have independent kids, the kids are not taking on the initiative for independence, let alone financial independence.
It's the other side of the coin, right? Because on the one hand, it's important for our children, our young people, to become self-reliant, to rely on themselves. Generally, you're not entirely relying on yourself, but become more self-reliant. The other hand, the other side of the coin is that we're also raising them, giving them everything, not allowing them to struggle, because a good parent won't let their child struggle. Is it not? Because struggle is part of life.
This is my child.
Yeah, struggle, not only in life, struggle is a part of growth.
But then if you don't let them struggle and see the other side of the world, what are you doing to
This
them?
is what I'm saying. I think I mentioned I don't know if I mentioned on the show, but I mentioned it in training often. I have a family friend. We have a family friend. I went to school with, to high school with, and university with this family friend. They're from Nigeria. One of the family members, they grew up in extreme poverty. When he got married, he said to his wife, I'm marrying you. And when I marry you, you and I were going to have one child. That one child will not go to school and see another child having a toy that he doesn't have. The night will not arrive and he doesn't have that toy.
We will
I will
give
spoil
our
my
child.
child. What I didn't get.
Long story short, everything I did not get, he will get twice. Long story short.
But is that helping that
Now,
child?
are you helping the child?
What
or
are
you're
parents?
giving revenge to what you
You're
missed?
covering up what you missed.
So there are two sides basically of that coin, Jesse, that I'm trying to highlight. On the one hand, it's important for our kids. We want young people to become more self-reliant. But on the other hand, we're also not providing the kind of environment where they have to learn to struggle to get the things that they want to achieve.
I want us to focus on that part, because
Let's go
even me,
there.
I have no idea what is it to provide an environment where someone struggles.
Yes.
I think I know the part where I spoil people, but not
That
the
one
part
you know
where...
Especially when the children you're spoiling are not yours.
I think that's the point where I was going. You are spoiling.
Juliana understands that one.
Please. I
So-
think you need to turn down on your spoiling. People children who are not even yours, adults.
Listen, so you're saying that parents actually do not know how to create that environment where a child struggles and then learns from the experience. Is it something intentional you have to work on
Yes.
it to create that environment?
Absolutely.
That see the struggle.
I think it's even as I do my interventions for families. Many times we talk about money management and families want to say, hey, let's talk to these kids about money so they can understand what it is when they're asking for things. And I normally say, I often get people resisting me when I say it. I say, teach your kids about money when they're young. Not just in theory, let them learn it. Let them have chiraka at home. Let them have work at home. Now somebody will say, work at home for the children is normal. You're part of the family. You should do work for the family.
You should mop.
You should mop. You should wash dishes. You should prepare food.
Slash
You
the
slash
compound.
no, but Papa, you have the machine. No, I slashed when I was your age. Even
father,
you slash.
My father made me slash.
What do you need a machine for? Can you stretch your elbows?
And then when I went to visit my grandfather, normally in the holidays, he had these coffee plantations. 5 a.m.
Can you enter there and start picking
says,
things?
bring a bucket of coffee seeds.
Let's go pick those cherries.
I'm like, Jesus.
Lord in heaven.
Not returning here this whole...
And you were never paid for that work.
And you were not paid for that because you are part of the family.
No,
I understand the argument.
What would happen actually is my grandfather would tell me, you will sell your coffee.
And get some bonbon
money.
for that one.
For me, at least, those were a bit of lessons that I had to work.
But you see, the earlier we understand the relationship between work and reward, the more prepared we are to do what is needed to be done to get what we want, to get where we want to go. So I understand, look, making your bed, this is just normal activities for someone to do in the house. Washing dishes, didn't you eat on that plate? Can you go wash it? You think people are here to clean for you? I understand the argument. However, what other opportunity will you have to make that association between work and pay if you don't pay your children or give them allowance for what tasks they have to do in the house? Because you will not give them a job. You will not give a child a job that to go to work at Simba. Go stock the shelves. No. So maybe you can change the language so it doesn't sound like you're paying your child. You might be giving them an allowance. And you can increase and decrease the allowance based on how much they do, and not only for the chores they're expected to do, or maybe even other things. Can you take some initiative? Help around the house. Help your mother. Help the people who are helping us, who are paying. Yeah, if you have such.
I think it's one of motivating a child as well. I remember growing up, my mom ran a restaurant in the city, and we used to work in holidays at her restaurant. And I swear, we were paid money every day because we were paid like any other worker. If you wanted to be in service, you would be paid. And your money would come at the end of the holiday, so that money, you use it as your pocket money going back to school. That motivated us to come back. We're looking forward for holidays because we wanted to go and work.
Need to get this cash.
Gotta
find this cash.
So I think it's a motivation. At some point, if you can involve your children in your business and pay them, not to reward you.
Now, the other day, since Jesse wants to know my life, I had a chat. I have a son in Kenya, in school. And he's saying, Daddy, I want pocket money. I'm seeing all these children buying things in the canteen. I'm feeling very jealous. I feel bad. I want some pocket money. I was like, okay. If you want pocket money, show me what you can do. I said, I will give you this amount of pocket money. This is the amount you're going to get. This is yours, X amount. But I will make deductions for every misbehavior, for every missed mark in class. I will deduct. So you're supposed to get this amount, but we will do some minus. We'll do some taxation. So I want him to understand that there's some expectation. If you want something, you have to pay to get that thing. And for him, I want him to know that he has to live up to the standard and expectation that we have of him in school in order for him to get it. So nothing is free in this life.
True.
And let's use the opportunities to make our children work and have them. I told him, in my family, we have a belief about money. When you get money, what part is yours and what part belongs to the Lord. So I said, you must learn also
to tithe.
There's a piece that is not for you. And I want to see receipts. Don't just tell me, yes, Daddy, I did this. No. Give me evidence.
The church is not giving receipts.
And now for him, I've told them they have to cook for my son. Cook those receipts. I want a stamp. Seal.
Isaac, you being too hard on the boy.
No, don't worry. I will be hard on him. Shauriak, who told him to be born from me?
Oh, this is very interesting. And he has no option. You're his father.
I'm his father. What will he do? Will he find another one?
No.
That he will fire and replace.
He can reject you.
No, he can reject how he wants, but he will not get money until he meets his obligations. If he requires obligations from me above feeding him and housing him and educating him, that one is my duty by the one who put me here. I have a duty also by the state. The state is telling me I have to feed this kid.
Okay, after doing all that, being too harsh,
that's not being harsh.
Do you get moments of hugging and saying, I love you, son, I love you, dad?
Yes.
Of course. And my son knows I love him. My children know I love them. But loving them, to me, as a father, loving them doesn't mean just giving them what they want. In fact, I think that's not loving them.
I think what you're doing is part of loving
That's
them.
what I think. I think loving a child, loving a son particularly, means to get him ready to be our man.
True.
And life is not kind for men. You must get... Jesse, what am I telling you?
But also you have to wake up. You need to train him. You're actually training him for the outside world.
That's right.
And
I will not be here forever.
I don't even regret what my mother made us do. She made us work for the money. And she kept reminding us, everything you earn in this world, you've got to work for it. That is it. And it's good.
And for me, that's love.
I'm going to tell my son the same thing. He doesn't want to... He won't get things just because he's my son. Yeah. No, he needs to work for it. Yeah.
Gianna, you have 2 phones. Why wouldn't you give your son one?
Why would my son have a phone?
What does he need a phone for?
Which business is he going to do on this phone? By the way, just to remind you, Jesse, my son will not get a tab until he's 7 years. This I'm telling you. I have put
7 years is
even 10 by
tomorrow.
the way.
Yeah, even 7
because it's just 1, 2, 2.5, and everyone is telling me he's bored. Get him a tab for what?
For what?
Let him go outside and play.
Let him find stones.
You see, in the tab, he could learn how to cook, for instance.
No,
putting ingredients
time
together.
For learning
Let
to
him
cook
go in
will
the
come.
kitchen.
Let him come and follow me in the kitchen. I am going to be that man. I wasn't raised on tabs, and I shall not allow that.
We learned how to cook, and we didn't have tabs.
Do we have tabs?
Guys, you learned how to cook as the millennials. The Gen Zs, the alphas, they won't learn
they
that
need
way.
YouTube.
Nurturing your own children the way you want. It's not about this
My
nonsense.
child needs to learn on TikTok.
I shall not
You
allow
have
him on
lied.
TikTok.
No?
No. He will not be on social media.
No.
That I refuse.
Yeah.
Isaac, we are still on this money conversation. Somebody had a concern. You spoke about your friend who says she earns great money, but still can't buy a home.
Yeah.
I don't know whether she feels it's too expensive or she's gotten the awareness that you don't have to rush in to own a home.
Of course.
But to own a home, especially to an African like me, owning a home brings a lot of comfort,
Sure.
prestige, and it's like a point of actualization for everyone who wakes up to go to work. Like, so then why do I work?
For what?
To pay somebody else rent.
That's right.
Okay. Tell me why I should or should not wait to buy a house.
A home purchase is not like you said. It's not something that you just wake up and pull some cash out of your pocket. It's a big lifestyle or life achievement.
Actually,
to own a home.
on the contrary, somebody just the other day, a friend of mine was getting married, and when he agreed on the dates of getting married, because it was a short planned wedding, he calls me and says, "Can you find me a home I can buy?" And I said, "What do you mean? You have where you stay?" He said, "No. My fiance, soon to be wife in 2 weeks, says we should live in our own home. And so I'm looking for a house in the ranges of, give me a price, 40 million. I'm willing to get me a house, 40 million in Kigali, I'll buy it." I mean, I could not find a house for 40 million.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're there. It's just what where you're willing to go and what maybe not in Kigali City, but I'm sure there are 40 million houses.
They don't want to pay cash. I don't want anybody
40 million
to
in
top up.
Drop
Kigali City.
40 million total
40
one
million
off.
total. Yeah.
Just,
Pay cash and walk away.
and walk out. Well, I don't know many people who are holding 40 million in their pocket. Maybe we don't run in the same circles, just.
Are you seeing his friends?
I think you're
Yeah.
basically that's the message, huh?
Yeah.
Just because we sit on the same table every Wednesday morning doesn't mean we're on the same level.
Clearly.
Huh?
His friends want
So
to buy houses
we
of
have
40
different
million.
we move in different groups with Jesse. But the reality is that for the vast majority of the world, when you are looking to purchase a home, even for this person I'm making an example of, with her good paying job, development job, most people are going to need to save up for a deposit and then purchase a mortgage. Yeah? So you go to the bank and the bank will give you a loan for your home with a certain amount of copay, right? Or deposit. But even that one, you need to take some time to sit down and find money for the deposit. 10% of the home. 15, 25, some are even lowering the requirement of the deposit, which increases how much you will pay. If you're paying less in the beginning, you pay more in the end. If you pay more in the beginning, you pay less in the end. Those things are the nature of life. But this person in question who says that she's not buying a home, it's not because she can't save. It's because she's saying, if we look at my obligations, I'm taking care of this family member. The other one is school fees. This one, I'm making sure my parents have this one. Huh? When I look at all the obligations and the money that I have, there's no money. Well, maybe if I wait for the next 5-10 years to put together my deposit, then I can get a home that I want. So
10 years.
It's a big deal.
10 years with the money.
Well, you see, here's the other thing. I've also wanted to buy a house for a long time. But 10 years ago was 2014. 2014 was just yesterday. So if we had organized to keep money from 2014, by now I probably have enough for 50% of a house. But because we're not focused on the long-term view, we don't make long-term plans, and then we miss out. Yeah.
So ideally, some people say that the rich would rather rent than to purchase.
It depends. It depends on the circumstance. It's not always the best circumstance or situation to buy. Not always. Most of the time, yes, but not always. I think the statistics are also that when you are a homeowner, you have something crazy like a 70% greater chance of becoming financially independent when you own a home. It's like a very big difference between people who own homes and people who don't in terms of financial success. Now, that could also be due to a lot of factors, but it's clear that owning a home makes a difference when you're trying to build wealth. In some environments, depending on the cost of purchasing a home, depending on the difficulty related sometime or your permanence in that place, it might be better to rent and use your money for other things.
Reinvest your money
elsewhere. It could be. But then, Jesse, you also remember, you said it earlier about yourself as an African, but also human beings. There's an emotional connection to home ownership.
True.
When somebody says, this is my home, these are my roots. This is where the babies grew up from. This is the place on the door where we marked how tall they are. This is where we raised all our children. There's an emotional connection to home ownership that also cannot be ignored. So I wouldn't say that wealthy people generally prefer to rent. It really depends on multiple circumstances, but most of the time, owning a home makes a big difference, gives a big advantage in your ability to grow wealth.
Our time is fast spent. Just one last question before we get into news. Who told Africans
that what?
that in a marriage or a relationship, a man must always be older than the woman?
First of all, Jesse,
which
angle did we pass?
You see where they're taking you today. Yeah. But yeah, maybe that should go to you.
Why me?
Isaac.
Juliana has seen the problem and said, let me pass this. Let me give you this hot potato.
I am not part of this question. Please roast this cassava yourself.
Have you ever dated a man who is younger than you?
No. But I think as I get older, in my 30s, I think I should date a young one.
Are you sure?
I don't mind. It has reached that age where I don't mind. If only he has the potential.
It's not just African. It's it's a global thing. Ladies prefer. Tell us.
Who?
Do you prefer, ladies, you prefer older men, younger men?
I don't know.
All ladies everywhere.
We prefer any man who is capable of being a man.
I remember somebody saying, no, this one is too close to the age of my brother.
I know, you just feel so guilty.
So a lady saying, no, this one is too close. I've never heard a guy say, this young girl is too close to the age of my sister. I can't.
But also, why does society judge the men who date older ladies?
Yeah, but society judges men for all things. For anything.
But society doesn't judge a lady dating an older man.
No.
See the double standards society has?
Society does judge older ladies for dating younger men.
Exactly, but why? Does age matter really?
It matters.
Money matters this morning.
Is the age you want?
Look at your poster.
Just want to start Money Conversation with Isaac Nkosi.